This is show 71 of the Cloth Diaper podcast. Today I am joined with Katie from Jakes Diapers. Almost 3 years ago, I had this brilliant idea of starting a podcast. Not because I wanted to necessarily edit or had any skills in podcasting. I actually don't even listen to podcasts very much. But because I wanted an opportunity to talk directly with cloth diaper brands, retailers, and parents from around the world and learn from those stories. But I also really wanted there to be transparency in that and for other people in this community to also learn from those stories. So here we are, 3 years later, 72 shows later, over 35 guests who are representing cloth diaper brands or retailers from around the world, and numerous parent stories. I'm so excited to be celebrating 3 years in July. I wish that I told you I had a plan, but as of right now, I do not have a plan, but I'm sure that it will come together. The Cloth Diaper podcast continues to share stories from brands and retailers because it's still an incredibly important thing. The cloth diaper community is growing more than ever, and it is through this work and the work of so many content creators on the internet that we can continue to be who we are. I also want to put this out here. If you haven't already seen my posts, I am looking for regular contributors to the website. I can't do it all, and for years I've dreamed of having a contributor-based website, but I always was kind of waiting for that moment that I was making enough money that I could pay someone. But that moment of making enough money isn't coming, not without more help and support. The Cloth Diaper podcast is a community space where I want to share as many different reviews, experiences, and stories as possible. I don't really want the cloth diaper internet existence to just be one perspective or just be outdated perspectives. And so I hope through bringing on contributors that we can continue to grow the space and become a leader in transparency, in diversity of voices, and diversity of experiences. If this is something that might interest you, please send me an email, and I would love to make you be a regular contributor. I'd love to help you grow as a content creator, as a person on the internet, and to maybe find some opportunities for the cloth diaper community to participate in when it comes to advertising and sponsorships. I know that my website's, my space does have the power to earn sponsorships, but we're so niched and I don't have babies anymore that sometimes I'm not the right fit for that. So maybe with contributors, we can apply for those sponsorships and we can get those advertising dollars. And we can help you earn money and we can help the space continue to grow and be a go-to reference that isn't just one person's opinion on the web, but a wide collective of experiences. That was a little bit of a tangent. Today's episode is with Katie from Jakes Diaper Network. I do feel this is a little bit of an awkward episode, and I've edited a lot of things out just because I totally was a space case on this day that I interviewed Katie. I don't really know why. You know what? Sometimes I think you get super intimidated by your guest, but your guest is just a person. And I definitely got super intimidated by Katie, and I felt like I was asking all the wrong questions. But this is a great insight and overview of what Jakes is. It's going to be short and sweet and to the point, but I hope that you get some takeaways, you learn how to reach them, and you kind of understand what role they play in the community and how we can continue to support them going forward.
Sure. I'm the program manager at Jakes Diapers. I've been employed by Jakes Diapers for 3 years, volunteering for about 8.
Oh, wow.
So Jakes Diapers started as a diaper bank. We were going to serve 15 babies in Peru with cloth diapers, and then we were going to be all done, and it was called Jakes Diapers because our executive director's her son's name was Jake. Mm-hmm. And she used modern cloth diapers on him. And then we just exploded from there into this huge diaper bank that is now served over, I think we're at like 64,000 people.
From 15 diapers to 64,000 diapers. And when we chatted last time, you said that you met, who's the founder of Jakes? What's her name?
Stephanie Bowers.
Stephanie Bowers at a conference?
I met her at a baby expo. So I was sewing and selling cloth diapers, and she was across the aisle collecting diapers for babies in Peru. Mm-hmm. So we met up and started talking, and I started working on some projects for her. as a volunteer, and it just kind of took off from there.
What is your role at Jakes Diapers? That is what I'm.
So my official title is a program manager. Basically what I do is I oversee our diaper programs. We have a variety of different programs now, not just our cloth diaper bank, but we have a national cloth network where we work with other diaper banks in the United States to help them get cloth diapers if they maybe don't have a person who's familiar with cloth diapers but still wants to offer that option to their clients.
Mm-hmm.
So then we can either pre-package kits and send them right to them so they can distribute them and they know that they're ready and they're good and they don't have to check them over or figure out how to wash them. Or if they have someone who's familiar with cloth, they can say, well, we have enough of this, but could you send us 100 pocket diapers or something like that if they just need to supplement their own programming.
Mm-hmm.
We have a global cloth network, which is any of our partners outside of the United States. A lot of it is like inpatient care type facilities in poverty-ridden areas, or group homes for abandoned children, that kind of stuff.
So you have two kind of channels. You're supporting diaper banks locally within the United States, and then supporting diaper need on an international level. And you're working with, are you working with bigger organizations or directly with
smaller places, little nonprofits all over the world? Sometimes bigger organizations too we'll fill a trailer for them and they'll send it to all different places. Then we have an individual loan program too, where if somebody's in the United States, their local diaper bank doesn't offer cloth, or they don't have a local diaper bank, or they don't have the resources to get to the nearest diaper bank, they can apply directly to us for our individual loan program. Okay. And we'll send a kit of cloth diapers directly to their home. That's really great for people who are in rural areas or people who just don't have transportation to get somewhere else to get diapers.
Yeah, that's fair. So there's 3 programs, then I guess that would be that third one is the individual support to families. And so you said 64,000 diapers over the last 8 years. Is that what you said?
We've served 64, let me check my notes, 63,000 people in a variety of programs. So we have our cloth programs. Locally, we also do some disposable diaper distributions. We also do period products locally and reusable period products globally. And then adult care items like incontinence supplies, like briefs and bed pads and ladder pads and all that kind of stuff.
That's wow. That's really kind of impressive. 63,000 people. And I think that I just got off the phone with Salem Cloth Project and I looked up the size of her county, and that's every single person in Salem County. To be able to support with diapering or incontinence or period products is just such a wonderful legacy. I mean, you've been involved for a long time. So has Stephanie. What is your guys's? What's your feeling? Like, how does that make you? What do you think about what you've accomplished?
We're kind of mind blown. We're like, we never thought this was going to be what it is today. And there's a whole nother side of the business that is kind of in the works as well, that will help fund our diaper programming. So it's just like grown bigger than we could have ever expected. But we're glad, the more people we serve, the closer we get to ending diaper need, period poverty, incontinence needs.
Yeah, so many layers to supporting. I know Megan corrected me when I used the word hygiene last week. It's not hygiene, it's basic needs, right? So many different ways that you can, or that need to be supported with a reusable, washable product. So today you guys are a 501c nonprofit, correct? Yep. So that means you've got a board of directors.
Yep.
Awesome. And what else does that mean in terms of how your organization is operated?
We have tax exempt status. So anytime someone sends a donation to us, we can give them a receipt so they can write it off, because it's a official entry. I don't know, just kind of, the government makes sure we're doing what we say we're doing, and, have to submit financial records and everything. So,
where are you guys located?
We are in Neenah, Wisconsin.
Sorry, where?
Which is Neenah, Wisconsin.
Neenah.
And for people who don't know Wisconsin very well,
No.
the two big cities that we're in between are Milwaukee and Green Bay. So we're south of Green Bay and north of Milwaukee.
Wow. Is Neenah a small town?
It's fairly small, but the Fox Cities area is kind of a Neenah, Menasha, Appleton is all this big area that you say Fox Cities, people from Wisconsin know what you're talking about.
Where did the passion to go kind of international stem from and continue to go? I think I've talked to so many people who are focused on local diaper need, but you guys started off internationally. Do you know that kind of story? Could you share it with us?
So we started international, and we were actually operating international a lot before we even considered like, oh, we have babies in our own backyard who need help too.
Yeah.
So that started with our executive director was on a mission trip. She was in Peru in 2011.
Okay.
And she visited a child care facility that was caring for dead caregivers for 15 babies. And poverty there is like something we would never even experience here. So these caregivers were washing and reusing disposable diapers because they didn't have the money to cover food, water, rent, and diapers. So they were just doing the absolute best they can to make sure these babies are cared for because they loved them so much, but just didn't have all the resources they need. So that really stuck with Stephanie. And then she went on, she came home from her trip, got married, had a baby, used modern cloth diapers on him. His name is Jake. He's not a baby anymore. And so as he was starting to get older, she's like, oh, we'll just start this little thing called Jakes Diapers, and we'll get enough diapers for these babies in Peru, and then we'll be all done, and it'll be super. And from there, it was like, oh, you helped babies in Peru. Well, now there's babies in Haiti who need help, and there's youth in India who need help, and there's babies in Africa who need help. And
there's babies everywhere, right?
Babies are everywhere, and there's diaper need everywhere.
Why was re-washing diapers something they were doing versus using cloth? Have they just been introduced to disposables? And
yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I think they didn't have the financial resources to even come up with cloth, or maybe it was just easier when you're taking care of that many babies to try to.
I mean, that's probably an entirely other tangent that deserves its entirely other research project, is how in a place, a facility that can't afford diapers long-term ends up with disposable products. And I feel like I already know the answer based on what happens with formula in some parts of the world getting pushed on parents. Anyways, with that's an interesting thing as we think about how we can support anybody in any sort of kind of global crisis. Is the products we're providing them going to support them long term? I guess would be where that thought needs to go.
I know in some of our partners I've talked to, not really for baby diapers as much, but for older kids. A lot of our partners take care of kids who are going to have incontinence issues their whole life. Once it gets past baby size, they just can't find anything.
I mean, that is a struggle even for parents in the United States. Sourcing medical supplies for larger children can be a huge struggle, let alone if you are in another part of the world. And I could see how, are you providing both disposable and washable options to them then?
Globally, we only provide cloth.
Okay.
For most of our clients, that's the better option. It's a, permanent solution.
Yeah, the permanent solution.
One exception, we work with a care facility, and I don't know when the last time we did this, but for a while we had been providing some micro preemie and preemie size diapers only because they couldn't get them in their country, and they were serving a lot of really tiny babies. I mean,
and that's kind of a weird exception to.
Yeah, that was our one, and it was an area where safety-wise, because of lack of clean water type stuff, disposables were just the better option for those babies.
How do you make sure that what you're providing to a facility is the better option? Are you having, what does that kind of look like for you guys?
We ask them what they need. Globally, we do only offer cloth just because there are other places that they could get disposable, but when we ship things overseas, we want it to be worthwhile, not just a one and done kind of thing. So if cloth is the best option for them, then great. It'll be a great partner. We can help them with what they need. And if they're like, oh, I really want disposables, we're like, well,
that's not us.
Globally. We really only do disposable diapers locally to Eastern Wisconsin.
Gotcha. And I guess you had already answered that question before I asked it. My other thought that I was going to have here was the big question that I think a lot of people, I see Jakes Diapers recommended everywhere on the internet. People talk about you a lot because you guys are serving 63,000 families over the last 8 years. That's a big impact. What's the best way that we can get involved to support Jakes? Is there specific products that you're looking for? What's the best way? How do you want the community to help you the most?
We love when people, they're like, okay, I'm all done diapering. My diapers are still in good shape. I want them, if they choose not to sell them. We love donations. We love donations of gently used cloth diapers. Our highest needs at the current moment are newborn size cloth diapers and wipes. Wipes.
Interesting.
So sometimes we have people who sew and they are like, oh, I can sew cloth wipes. That's great. We love that.
It really can be that simple, hey? Mm-hmm. Newborn diapers and wipes, because you guys are you're providing diapers, we said individually, internationally, and distributing to other diaper banks. When we had chatted, last time we chatted, you mentioned there was a need for simple diapers, for flats and for covers. Does that still continue to be something that you guys are looking for most when supporting families?
We had a very big donation from Petite Crown not too long ago. So we're pretty good on flats right now.
I mean, Marie is wonderful.
We're good on flats right now, but it is something we send just tons of everywhere. And we include them in our US kits and we send them all over the world. So it's whatever need.
Is getting corporate donations from from other brands like Marie at Petite Crown or did Little Helper help you? Maybe it was somebody else. But is getting bigger corporate donations from other brands something that you guys rely on a lot and look forward to the most?
Yes, Nikki's Diapers has been supporting us from the very beginning. We work with, I'll probably forget to mention some if I try, but I know we work with Thirsties and Kanga Care and Blueberry and Super Undies. Yeah. I'm sure there's more. Happy Behinds just started donating to us.
And those
I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting, and I'll feel really bad for not saying them.
That's fair. There are, as an individual, we can donate our diapers, and brands donate diapers. Is there other ways that Jakes Diapers needs support through volunteers, through awareness, or is it only through product donations?
Financial donations are great. We do operate out of a warehouse, so we do pay rent, just being honest. Volunteer-wise, we don't have a lot of volunteer opportunities that are like outside of local volunteers, other than like maybe if you want to sew stuff and send it to us. But local volunteers, we have, the endless need for people to wash used diapers and get them sanitized and ready to go. And we have tons of sorting to do when donations come in. Or if on the lucky day that I have someone who knows about cloth diapers, we'll go through and make sure there's no holes in the PUL or the elastic isn't totally shot, or and some get repaired and some were like perfect the way they are. And every once in a while you find one that you just look at it and you're like, I don't think that's gonna work. It happens.
Is there so the diapers that we as the community are providing to you, there's probably a few things we should be considering before we send them to you. Hey?
Yeah. The big thing is if the PUL or the TPU is shot, if it doesn't hold pee anymore, it's not going to hold pee for anyone else's baby either.
I think there's always this big hope in the cloth diaper world that somebody has figured out how to fix PUL, but we haven't. It's kind of just once it's done, unfortunately, it's kind of...
I know some people use them as swim diapers, but we're currently drowning in swim diapers, so...
It's okay. I know that the cloth diaper community, we are founded on a lot of environmental roots. It's okay to throw things away sometimes. I can imagine that might be a burden sometimes for some organizations if they get too many.
It can be. Usually if a person has something like that and they don't want to throw it away, if you ask like your local thrift store, they're probably connected with a textile recycler. So we do a lot of textile recycling.
That is a great reminder. I forgot about textile recycling. My local Salvation Army does textile recycling. So you can you just like write crash on it and they will textile recycle it.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie. That's like the big reminder for the day. Are not sending diapers that are going to leak through the PUL is probably your biggest one. Are you guys replace elastics then?
We can. We tend to burn out volunteers on that pretty fast. They do about a tote of them and they're like, I don't ever want to do that again.
That's what local mom had told me that story too.
Some brands are easier to replace than others, but we try to save as many of them as we can.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, or fix
snaps we can repair, no problem. We're good with snaps.
Oh yeah, snaps are. If you've got the tools, I don't have a snap press, so every time I lose a snap, I kind of cry a little. But all you need is a snap press, and we have
3 of the big ones, so we're good. We have one for snap removal, one for putting the one side on, and one for putting the other one on. So those ones we can do no problem.
What about, is hook and loop salvageable?
Sometimes it depends how bad it is.
Oh. I feel like you're going to have to one day send me a picture of some really bad hook and loop just because I'm kind of nosy about what that actually looks like, as I have never burnt out my own hook and loop.
Yep. Sometimes it's like, is this one still in good enough shape to be worth the effort? Depends.
Diapers just have a lifespan. It's okay to admit that they have a lifespan and that they are going to die.
Yep. If you've got a whole set of cloth diapers and it lasted you through 3 kids, you've done great for the environment.
You've done
Don't worry
an amazing job. How does Jakes Diapers support education-wise when they're providing diapers and provide that support?
So we have like a little sheet we put in all of our kits that's, basic how to care for cloth diapers, recommendations on how to wash them so that you don't have problems. And then we also have a Facebook group that is strictly for our clients so that they have a judgment-free zone. Everybody in there is someone who got their diapers for free from us and may or may not have any knowledge of cloth at all. So they can come there and be like, I got these things in my kit and I don't know what they are. I'm like, oh, those are flats, and we'll show you how to fold them and how to use them and that kind of thing. So
awesome. That's a really great way to provide some connection, people, and building on that community. Yeah, there's so many different types of diapers. I could see how that could easily get overwhelming very quick. What is something that Jakes Diapers looks forward to in the future? Do you guys have any big goals to achieve or that you want to achieve?
Diaper wise, we just want to keep going with picking up more national cloth network partners. We really want all diaper banks, and I'm working with a few other diaper banks that you've already talked to, Megan and Kaylee, in this cloth coalition. And we want to make a really easy startup guide for diaper banks who aren't familiar with cloth but want to offer that option. It's really important to us to offer options because a lot of times when you're in poverty or even in a temporary situation where you need help, you don't get a lot of options. You go to the food bank and they're like, here you go, hope you like it. And having that ability for a diaper bank to say, well, would you like 50 disposable diapers, or would you like a cloth diaper kit that will last until your kid potty trains? And even if 95% of the people are like, I don't have the energy for cloth, I still want disposables, they're given choices and there's some dignity in the, you can have this or you can have this, not this is what you get, take it or leave it.
And the increased awareness that cloth is even an option is, we're at a point where today it's maybe 95% choose disposable, but next year maybe that exposure rate has gone up and suddenly we have more families choosing disposable or cloth. And it's so cool listening to you talk about that international and making sure that they are set up for long-term success. And I heard that from Kaylee at Salem Cloth Diaper Bank. And it's just that long-term, dignity, almost just to be able to know that you could do that long-term or have the support or even do it kind of hybrid-y style. You take it today and you do it for a bit and you have a break and then you do it a bit again, and it ebbs and flows. And that's
yeah, we've even had partners we've worked with who work with families who mostly rely on diaper banks for their diapers, and we've made like half kits, like partial kits of cloth diapers. I think it was 12 changes for them because that was what she thought would work well, so that if one of her clients runs out of disposable diapers, it's 2 days until payday, and she's already gotten what she can get from the diaper bank for the month. She has an option, or they have an option to, okay, my baby's not going to go without diapers. I am going to have to wash cloth diapers, and that's maybe not that family's first choice, but their baby is still clean and dry and healthy.
And that is the goal that we want to have. And I have connected with a few diaper services in the United States lately who do a hybrid model where they offer diaper services as part of their diaper bank model. And there's different ways that we can do that as communities based on people's capabilities and skill sets and how it comes together, which is also really kind of beautiful. There are diaper banks across the United States that are providing families with disposable diapers, correct? And so you're talking about connecting with the National Diaper Bank. And one thing that cloth diaper parents could do is become that advocate within their disposable bank. Was it us that chatted about that when we had our...
Maybe, but I did write it in my notes because I mentioned it too.
Is that a lot of times, I think it was you who had said that these disposable diaper banks, they just don't have that skill set to be able to support cloth parents. And so there might already be something in somebody's backyard that just needs a little bit of extra support.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Because it's a whole new skill set. It's something we're not very familiar with. I'm so excited to see what comes out of this cloth diaper coalition that y'all are kind of working on. I've been connecting more people with Megan to bring them in because there are other diaper banks. And it's so cool. Are you guys like one of the only ones doing outreach at an international and national level? Because the cloth option is only in the US, right?
Yeah, to our knowledge, we're the only, we're the only member of the National Diaper Bank Network, at least that we know of, that is doing national and international, but most of the members of the network are mainly disposable diaper banks.
Do disposable diaper banks work only at a local level, or are there disposable diaper banks that work nationally?
They're usually local. So we're part of this organization. It's called the National Diaper Bank Network. And it's basically like a kind of group of diaper banks in the United States and shares ideas and that kind of stuff. There's a big conference every year and we talk about diaper need and poverty and that kind of stuff and social equity and distribution in diapers and how to run a diaper bank and all that kind of stuff.
It reinforces that there isn't really any national level programs to support diapers. Really what we're seeing is just cloth. I mean, at a national level, there are cloth options. There's Jakes, there's the cloth option, and some of the smaller cloth diaper banks will ship if they get asked, is my it's a huge disparity and lack of resources, which I think we know. And it's sad to repeat it every time that there is just this like huge disconnect and diapers. Or anything else super important that you felt that you did share as representative from Jakes Diapers?
Not anything I could think of really.
I sometimes get a comment that you're really hard to get a hold of, Katie.
I am not hard to get a hold of. Jakes Diapers in general is very hard to get a hold of because so for the longest time it was because the phone number on our website was our executive director and she could put her phone down for 2 hours and have 25 voicemails. So she is very hard to get a hold of just because the amount of people trying to contact her. We now have a landline in our office. It is now working again. It was off and on working for a while and we just got it working again and we had like 30 voicemails to get back to. Yes, depending who you email, it is very hard to get a hold of us, or if you call someone, it's also very hard to get a hold of us. My number is not on the website. So So the office line that is now on our website is probably better.
If somebody is trying to get a hold of Jakes Diapers, leave a voicemail.
You can leave a voicemail on our landline office line. Yeah, it's hard because it's just pretty much, so there's 2 staff and then a few of our volunteers also have emails, but it's just a matter of, most of the emails go to our executive director, and if she misses one and doesn't forward it on to me, if it's something I'm supposed to handle, then it kind of falls into the abyss of emails.
And that's fair enough in recognizing that nonprofits are run by humans who are full of human error and often overwhelmed. As a cloth diaper blogger, I get like 12 emails a day. So I could see that different scales of projects and I guess giving some grace in that understanding of trying to get a hold of you guys. Sorry about that phone error. That sounds like a headache and a half.
Yes. So calling is great because usually if you call that office number, you get a hold of our volunteer office manager, Cheryl, and she's fantastic to talk to, and she will get you all set up with what you need.
Gotcha. Okay. So I will recommend that people give you a call if they're a brand looking to do a corporate donation, and I will spread that word to those DMs I got. It was just like, maybe I'll ask her while she's here. It was such a privilege to get to talk to you, Katie, and learn what you guys are doing and how we can better support you guys and the incredible work that's going on. And you guys look like you're a growing team. You said 2 staff members?
Currently we have 2 paid staff and then a whole bunch of volunteers working on, I think we have 2 contracted, so they're not technically staff, but we pay them.
Hey, that's an amazing step for a nonprofit to be able to get to the point where they can compensate their volunteers' time. Such a goal.
It's important because it kind of creates a sense of like responsibility. If a volunteer who is just I'm just going to pick diaper orders, something better comes up, they may or may not come. That's their choice. But when you have a staff, you're like, okay, we know that somebody will be available to staff the warehouse this day, and this.
It's important to recognize people's time as being valuable, their skill sets as being important, and to be able to provide as a kind of a business is just, I often think we take advantage of nonprofits sometimes and feeling that they have to stay grassroots, but to be able to get to a point where it ensures longevity of your organization. And
yes,
yeah, so valuable. And I hope the best for everybody that I've chatted to this week, that they can also get to this point where they can pay their employees or their volunteers for the work that they do. Thank you. I feel like I've taken a lot of your time.
You're fine.
But I am so glad to have chatted with you, Katie. And the world is excited to learn a little bit about Jakes. And if you have anything that you need, of course, let me know. And I'm